Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from beautiful, sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about, is there any more land to buy? And I have to, every, 2 months, 3 months, we do a show called like this. And it's our it's top 3 frequently asked question we get. So
it comes up.
Every couple of months we try to dispel it forever, but it keeps coming up, which I understand. Because quite honestly, I had this question when I started.
Could you imagine though, it's just kind of, for me, I know the answer and it never concerns me. And I wonder why people get hung up on it. It's like,
because it's such a good idea what we do. Yeah. I can answer that. Jill and I were at a cocktail party. When was this? I don't know. A couple weeks ago. Again, somebody asked us what we do for a living, so Jill and I answered. And this guy, I didn't know it at the time, happened to be like a commercial real estate investor in Los Angeles, very successful one.
Right.
So I'm describing it the way I would describe it to a new member, and his answer immediately was, well, why isn't everybody doing this?
Yeah.
And I said, I ask myself that question every day. And he said, well, I want to get involved in this. And I said, I think you should. He said, well, it's probably too late, isn't it? Everyone's doing it.
That's hilarious.
This is a guy that owns office buildings and
exactly.
stuff, and apartment buildings.
I'd be worried about his. I know.
His first question is, am I too late to the party? So we just laughed about it. And then we're going to take a different approach today in a couple of minutes here and try to throw some pretty big numbers. Jill, this is Jill's idea. Throw some pretty amazing statistics, big picture statistics about how much land is actually really out there. And there's no way, for the record, to answer the short answer to the question is there's no way we're ever going to trip over each other's feet.
Exactly.
But before we get into it, which I sort of already did, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Mike asks, hello, I have a seller who has 2 16-inch pipelines buried on his property, 9 acres divided into 3 parcels. The pipeline, ROW, takes up about, is it row or ROW?
Row.
Okay, sorry. He capitalized this. I wasn't sure if that was like a a term?
I think actually what he means by row is they're all in a line.
Okay, yeah.
And they're theoretically disrupting what he thinks you can use this property for.
Okay. Takes up about 1.5 acres of the land. Does anyone have any experience with pipelines? Does it make a property hard to sell? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thanks.
Well, may I answer? Mm-hmm. In my opinion, this is with this level of information, it's really tough to answer the question. My gut response, and I'm sure Jill's is the same, is why do you care? just sell the property, resell it. My second, more logical, more mature, more fatherly advice is just treat it like an easement, because I really think that's probably what it is, and it's probably recorded somewhere. So what you have instead of 3 acres is 1.5 acres property that you need to sell or buy, and you need to price it that way. But without knowing, I don't know.
It's hard to tell. I read it as like maybe if it's a 1.5 acres of the total 9 acres, so maybe it's taking up 1/2 acre on each of the 3. So you might have 2.5 acres to work with.
Yeah.
And then my initial gut was it's an improvement.
Yes. That's what I think.
Hold on a moment.
Yeah.
Somebody see and by the way, here's my other thing. Every time I see a property and there's something done to it, like this pipeline or
there's a great access
power line. Exactly. There is definitely access because they had to get there to lay the power. So I'm like, well, that solves that. So I'm like, that's, for me, I just see it as a positive.
Here's what, along these lines, do you want a property that's hard to get to and super cheap and really has no attributes, or do you want a semi-improved property that's got some stuff that's unique about it that's really, really inexpensive?
Right.
I choose B.
Exactly.
And hopefully that's what this is. So all these little quirky things about, oh my gosh, I found this surprise on this acquisition candidate. It seems to me people are looking for something wrong.
Yeah, they kind of are. You know what? It's like they're second guessing themselves sometimes. It's like, home runs do happen.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
Home runs happen.
You did everything right. Check your check. You know what to do. You have to do your due diligence when these offers come back signed, ready to go like this one. Trust it, and don't look for problems. I think that's it. You know what? I think, too, it's like people are still kind of scratching their heads going, this can't be real.
I know.
And that's why they're looking for problems. Like, they think there's something wrong. And I'm here to tell you.
25 years.
Our most successful members don't do that anymore. If they did, it lasted this long.
They got over it.
They said, oh, my gosh, holy cow, Stephen and Jill are right. I'm running all the way to the bank on all of these deals.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, thank you.
I had a question. I mean, I had a conversation a really long time ago. We were, again, at a cocktail party, and I was talking to this woman.
Sounds like we have a lot of cocktails.
Maybe we have to. I don't know why. Because you know why? Because that's the environment everybody says. What do you do for a living? You know, everybody's kind of like
that's
socially
true.
uncomfortable before their third drink.
Yeah.
All these conversations happen before the third drink. Then after the third drink, Jill and I tell the truth about, oh my gosh, yeah, we turn 14 properties a week. And then everybody calms down about it. That's really what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the mechanics of how to do it or anything.
No.
They just want to hear that's skipping along the top positive stuff.
Exactly.
This woman asks me, she kept saying the sentence, how do you know? I'm like, what are you talking about? How do you really know? What she meant was, how do you know that it's a good deal? How do you know, and she was a nurse. And I said, I just look at all the data and it tells me. I don't really have a feeling about it. And she couldn't get past that. So, do you have feelings about the land we buy?
No.
I don't have any feelings at all.
Nope. No, the only feeling I have is like, here's my only feeling. It's like, holy cow, I can't believe we just got it for that quickly.
Elation.
We need to run to the bank.
Jill and
before they change their mind, close that deal.
Before we sat down here.
That's the most feelings that I have about these.
Before Jill and I sat down here, she opened her assistant opened the mail because we have a purchase agreement.
Yay, that's a good show.
From a house.
For a house.
And here's the note.
Yeah.
Can you read this?
Yeah, this is so cute.
They signed our offer, by the way.
They did.
We're going to make about 100.
And they included a nice little they got our offer on the house. They just agreed to it immediately, signed it, sent it back, and included a sweet little note that said, the ceiling fan in the spare bedroom needs to be replaced and may be unsafe to turn on during inspection. Thank you. That's sweet. And it's so darn cute. And they both, you could tell husband and wife both signed it personally.
Did they really?
Yeah, you could tell it's different writing.
Put that in front of the camera.
It's so darn cute. So
You're like really up here.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube, you can see it.
Exactly. It's so cute.
These things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, how do I know? Because when I did the data dump for Arizona, I priced this property at $153,631 and 24 cents, and it's worth probably, after we clean it up and not renovate it.
Oh, and replace the ceiling fan.
After we replace the ceiling fan and clean the carpet,
that's
and
about
really, really have a professional cleaning company come in there.
Yeah.
I don't mean renovate the house. I don't even mean paint or carpet or anything. It's probably worth $225. We'll sell it for $180, $190.
Yeah.
And they just they live in Illinois. They don't use the house in Arizona anymore.
Exactly. It's perfect.
Yeah. Today's topic, is there any more land to buy? This is the meat of the show. Before we sat down again, Jill asked me to pull up a statistic because we had our member call yesterday, and he read it. He typed out and copied and pasted a statistic for us to read, so Jill's going to read it again, hopefully.
It was cool. He said he read it in a textbook, so he's taking some class on something. I don't know what it was, but he's like, it was just a nice little thing that he shared on our member call, like, hey, everybody, I just read something that confirmed what Stephen's been saying all along, so chill out about this. So
there's a whole chapter in Land Academy 2.0 devoted to this topic, and I break it down numbers by numbers by numbers to stop the madness about the fact that there's enough land to buy.
Exactly. So you want me to read this?
That'd be great.
Okay. The land surface of the United States covers 2.3 billion acres.
You could stop right there. I don't want you to, but you could stop right there.
Exactly.
And private owners hold 61% of that. Go ahead. That's 1.3 billion acres. We're not going to run out of property to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Our 350 member group is not going to buy 1.4 billion acres.
I know. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Yeah, we're only going, the federal government has 28%, state and local 9%, and then any reservations 3%. It's nice that they made the list. Nice that my people made the list.
And here's another thing that they added at the end of this. which is really actually
have to
good
leave
for
them
us.
in and still politically correct and not exclude them.
Virtually all cropland is privately owned, which is the real usable land,
That's true.
as is 3/5 of grassland, pasture, and range. Over half of forest land is privately owned.
Isn't that
So
cool?
like, good property,
That's fun. We
useful
like that.
property is privately held.
That comes up often too. People go, I just bought a piece of property and it's next to a forest or it's in the middle of forest land
Yeah.
or anything like that. And they're a little bit worried about it. And we're like, no, that's great.
Just like the question today.
It's protected. How great is that? No one's going to build around it. I think that's wonderful.
So it occurred to me that what people aren't really asking is there enough to go around? What they're asking me is what this nurse asked me a lot of years ago. How do you know if you should be buying this or not? I think they make up reasons like it's just not, I'm like too late to the party and I can't do it. It's the head thing.
Yeah.
It's not a math thing.
And
Because
that's
the math is clear.
And that's okay. You have to not get emotional. You have to see it as a line item. So you know what? And that's, for me, that's how you know. How do I know? Well, I looked at the numbers. How do I know? I did all my homework. I made sure that checks all my boxes. It's got the 4 A's. I know what I'm buying it for. I've confirmed all the comparable available for sale property. So I know I'm going to like kill it here. That's how you know. It's not a guessing game. Maybe that's it.
It's really
I think people who are new to this business and don't really understand land wholesaling, they think that it's
risky.
Or they think that there's you have to have, how about this? They think that you probably have to have years of experience like we do to really make it. And they don't realize that not only do you don't need years of experience. Sure, experience always helps with all kinds of things, but that's what Land Academy is about. We have properly showed people that here's what we look at. You don't need to have years of experience. You just need a checklist like I do.
Yeah. And
just make sure does it have access? Is it acreage? Is it look at the whatever? Did you check for any possible back taxes or things like that? So Did
you check what's for sale?
Did you make sure that do you know if is it in an HOA? Do you know about the HOA? All those little things like that. That's how you know. And then you go, well, yep, I got all the answers.
Checks all the boxes.
I'm buying it. I know
Checks
what's
all
going
the
to
boxes,
happen.
and there's a bunch of other property for sale in the immediate area that's about the same size. Let's say 5 acres.
Right.
And mine's priced at half for sale. So I mean, there's a 98% chance I'm going to do great on this property.
Exactly.
You know what? There's a 2% chance you're going to lose your money. If that's totally unacceptable to you, I think you should go back to your corporate job. Seriously, I really think that's the vast majority. The vast majority of the conversations that come up like this are from people that are in that 2%. They don't want to do anything anyway. They're just they want to find something wrong with it so that they can watch TV.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's not that they don't want to do it. They're just not comfortable. And you know what? Let's put it out there. It's because they don't have people like us.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never, how about this? I'm going to put myself in their shoes. Imagine I meet someone who owns 10 McDonald's and he's killing it, right? He obviously would be if he owns 10 McDonald's. I'm at our cocktail party again.
It's like 1.2 million a year.
Right. So this guy owns 10 McDonald's. Am I really going to go out and try to do this all on my own from scratch, knowing nothing? Heck, no.
Buy McDonald's, you mean?
Right. Would I try to or even recreate it, or whatever?
Oh, right. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Open a hamburger stand? Yeah, that'd be crazy.
So
risky.
I'm putting myself in like this person's shoes or someone else's shoes who's looking at us from the outside. I would not do that. I would seek out someone who's done it before and then
that's my girl.
Do a lot of research on it. Even before I talk to this person, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, and so I would second guess myself. I would say, until...
You just made me blush just now.
Why?
Because your level of hotness just went up.
Oh, thanks.
You're just so confidently saying, why would I recreate the wheel?
It's dumb.
Find somebody that knows all about it and make them a partner.
I wouldn't even do that.
Learn from them.
That's what I would do. I don't want to split it. I love you, but I don't want to share it. This is enough equity here. I don't want sharing. I don't want to share it again. So
I'll share it in a McDonald's franchise.
But you know what?
Actually, that's a bad idea.
Hold on a moment. This person doesn't need me. We all know that. So my thing was just saying, I can understand why they're a little bit uncomfortable, and that's why we're here.
I mean, yeah, I'm not to sit here and debate the point, but I think it's way beyond a little bit more uncomfortable. The people who are a little bit uncomfortable really don't talk about it. They just say, yeah, I accept the 5%, 2% risk in this deal. And they buy it and they say,
and they do
yeah,
it.
maybe I'm going to lose all my money. I'm not sure. But there's a 98% chance I'm going to double my money.
Well, and if they did it right and they listened to us, it doesn't matter because they bought 10 properties, not one.
Thank you.
And then the other 9 carried the one that they messed up on while they're learning. Big deal.
Which never happens, by the way.
Oh, instead of making $20,000, I only made $18,000 because I goofed up on that one. Big deal. You can afford that. That's how you do it.
I look at, instead of acreage, like we just talked about, how many acres are out there, I look at parcels, because what you're really buying is an APN.
Right.
And there's 150 million properties that make up, apparently, 150 million properties that are available to purchase that are privately owned
that make up
in
the
the country.
1.4 billion. 1.4 billion acres equals your APN number.
Yeah, so divide by that. But
yeah.
People say they're not making any more land, but they are, because that number goes up every year because of subdivisions. Right. So
That'd be a whole nother.
This whole thing can be broken down into. It's not an infinite universe of risk, and people think that because they renovate houses and then they put them on the market and they pray. Right. We don't do anything like that. We know exactly where we're going to sell it, who we're going to sell. Most of the time, who we're going to sell it to, because they own property around that. They own property around the one that you own,
right? And
how much. Remember we renovated those houses back in the day, and we just prayed for like a month? Yep. Well, you've done it again. You spent another 15 minutes listening to the Land Academy show. Join us next time where we discuss, do you have the startup capital necessary to do this?
And we answer your questions posted on our free online community, and you can find it at landinvestors.com.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Do you think we dispelled that concept?
Oh, no. Yeah. Actually, no, I think I'm glad that we did that. No, I think, because you know what? We often talk about parcels, which is a smaller number. We don't talk about the total acreage. And so for me, when you hear the billion in there, and it's like 1.4 billion acres of private land, I mean, come on. Are we going to really trip on each other? No. We had a guy the other day in a member call mention a southern state that I'm not going to say here, but I don't know. I really don't know of anyone in our community doing anything in that state. And I love it. And it was funny because he looked at it like, oh, am I crazy? And because I'm the only one that's pursuing the state. I'm like, no, you might be the smart one.
Right.
Go out there, kill it in that state.
You are the smart one.
Yeah.
For being a little bit creative. After you get the basics down and you've done 10 deals like the rest of us have done. Absolutely. Totally. Just like anything.
Yeah. Share the fun by subscribing on iTunes or wherever you are listening, and maybe you're watching us on YouTube.
Yeah.
So while you're at it, please rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.